as we're looking ahead to this Sunday, Dave, what would your read be if we are in a position where this pay-per-view, there's a CM Punk and the Young Bucks? You would think in a normal world, these are both assets on your pay-per-view.
Yes.
Would you
Yes.
expect both of them on this pay-per-view on Sunday? Because now we're getting into like this situation where you're potentially leaving money on the table, especially if you are figuring like a Punk. Is that what, a 20% jump in buys if he is on this show on Sunday?
If he is, he's got to be on the show. If you're going to figure Punk's worth 20%, then he needs to be on the show, and they need to, and it needs to be in a big match. But Omega's on the show anyway. We already know that. So there's no, there's no reason for the Bucks not to be on the show. You're not accomplishing anything by doing that because Omega's already on the show. So as far as that decision-making process goes, look, they all should be on the show. And, and eventually, again, it's like, are you really going to do Wembley without Omega and the Young Bucks? I mean, that's ridiculous. Are you going to do it without Punk? That's ridiculous too. So, yeah, you can keep the Young Bucks and Kenny off tonight's show and have Punk on, and it makes all the sense in the world. If I am, there's a lot of things that I would do completely different here, and I certainly wish, that this thing had been settled, on whatever September 4th, as opposed to probably who knows when, if ever, it will be settled. But whatever the decision is to keep them apart, but you can't. But I mean, as far as for tonight, yeah, they made the right call to put Punk on in Chicago and have the other guys in the pre-tape. But they're not on Collision. I mean, they're not on. The Young Bucks and Omega are not on Collision Live. They may do a pre-tape there. But it's like at some point you just got to go. Look, they're all top guys, and it just feels. I mean, I know there were people like that. Again, with Punk being on the show tonight, one of the top guys was just like, we were told that we would not have to deal with Punk except for on pay-per-views. And it's like, but here he is week one. It's not like it's a surprise or anything. It's just, these ideas change, or what people are told change. And people are kind of like, this is the company. It's a new company. That's all there is. That's how people view it. It's a new company. As far as business wise, what that means, we'll find out. And as far as morale wise, it's, it depends on how Punk is, Punk needs to be magnanimous with everyone. And I think he will probably try, at least with most. But, there's a lot of divisiveness that, it's so frustrating to me because I see it so closely, and I feel it shouldn't be there. And, it's worse now than it's been, I mean, it hasn't gotten better now. Right now it's at a pretty bad point again.
Is that since the promo on Friday
since
and
the
this
promo
many days,
since
the promo has made things worse in your opinion?
Well, the promo in the ESPN story. Yeah. Those, I didn't hear, nobody was really, it's like, okay, it's whatever. And then the ESPN story, which, I mean, it was the talk of the locker room on Wednesday, and, which led to a lot of issues. And then the promo.
Was it what they were expecting? Because, I mean, most people read it and expecting it to be controversial, and it was not that controversial, I thought.
Right. I am of the impression that people were expecting worse than it turned out to be. But you still have people the people who really like Adam Page were not happy, and I think there's this feeling of, everyone there is pretty much told, like, keep the stuff on the inside, that if it gets out, it's not good for the company. And then the feeling is that one side is agreeing to do that and the other side is not. But the thing is that on both sides, they think it's the other side. So it becomes like a really weird thing. But it's like,
can you say which side is which there?
Well, I mean, I know, I mean, the one side's more public because, I mean, Punk's the one who said this stuff publicly. But I mean, the thing was, when it comes to the ESPN story is that there's a lot of people who, felt that Page should not have, he shouldn't have gone after Page. Even if privately he believed it, this wasn't the time to do it. And Page, is not someone who's going to answer back. So he becomes, the bad guy because he can't. I mean, he could, but he doesn't want to be. I mean, if you notice from day one, Page has never said a word about anything. And he's a focal point of the story. And the reason is because, he feels the best thing is to not say anything. And by doing that, I think that, people have looked at and go, oh, did he really, whatever, or that, it's become a tough thing, and it makes it a tough work environment when one side will go after the other, and the other side is not saying anything, which has to frustrate them because they can't say anything, or they feel it's best not to, and then now they're the victims, and it's just a tough situation. But yes, Saturday people, it was like one of those things of both sides were told, as far as the Young Bucks. I mean, like there was the feeling that he went after Page because he's friends with the Young Bucks, and he had signed a thing where he couldn't go after the Young Bucks. And then on Saturday on Collision, there's the line, and you can take it a million ways, and it's ambiguous and all that. But if you are looking at it going like, well, he's not supposed to, and he did, then you could say that. And if you just go, it's just a line, and who cares? You can look at it that way. There's two ways of looking at that. I mean, when I heard the line, my thought was
talking about the counterfeit bucks.
The counterfeit bucks. But when I heard the line, I'm one Bill Phil, it's like, okay, is he acknowledging? Does he know something that you and I don't know about?
Did he confirm the TV deal? Is what we want to know.
Maybe Jerry McDivitt asked Phil about this before they put that in the lawsuit.
Yeah, but I know, really, but yeah, it's like, is this story true, or is he just, making something up, like taking this story that you and I have not been able to confirm, as far as I know, and I've heard the rumors, for weeks and weeks and weeks, and all that about the $1 billion deal, and he's out there essentially saying this, and on their TV when Tony, is like,
we can't talk about the television contract.
We can't talk about it. And here he is saying this to put himself over. And it's like, is this a true story, or is he just, I don't know the answer.
This coming week on the Post Wrestling Cafe, we're coming at you 4 nights in a row.
Starts this Wednesday night with the return of the Double Shot covering Dark Side of the Ring. Thursday, it's the return of MCU Later, where we'll talk about Marvel's Secret Invasion. Friday, it's Rewind of SmackDown. And Saturday, it's the return of Collision Course, where I will be joining Kate from Montreal, and we'll be checking with John Cena live from the event.
You can join at postwrestlingcafe.com. $6 gets you in the door.